Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Murphy's front bar, back for another week. We're in the beautiful facility here at Murphy. A bit warmer than outside. It's colder than your ex-wife's heart, just getting the signal there. Love to introduce the panel. Immediately to my left, we've got something a bit different tonight. We've gone the Cats theme, but we've gone a more local theme mixed with the Cats theme. The man that dispelled the theory that Tasmanians are just proof that Kiwis can swim. He coaches St Joey's, hopefully on the verge of their third premiership. Big round of applause for Heath Jamieson. And gentlemen, I can see a few of the boys in here, obviously just looking to front and square, just getting the carbs ready for Saturday to take on the Bogan Catholics down there at GMHBA Stadium. Immediately to Heath's left is a budding young star, well, will be next year for the Cats in the AFLW. She's playing in the VFLW, comes from a big basketball background. Her brother-in-law, I think, is Mark Neal. Don't hold that against her, Anna Teague. And the man you'll know immediately down the end of the table is once had restraining orders taken out on him by the number 18 for North Melbourne. He wore him that tight. Bluey McGrath. Guys, great to have you on. It's fair to say shivering is counted as exercise at the minute. It was 9 degrees in the car when I was driving to Murphy's, but great to have you here. Footy finals, netball finals, any final you can think of is about to start. And it's an exciting time of the year, I suppose, for everybody, particularly you two have worked so hard in different aspects of the game, Heath with the coaching and with the playing, but it all comes together now and this is where you want to be a part of.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's a long, hard road, I suppose, this season, and you get the reward this weekend. I think, you know, we moved from our little ground up at Herne Hill onto the green grass of GMHBA Stadium, and it's the time of the year you want to be playing footy. So we look forward to the challenge that St Mary's will bring on Saturday.
And what's the story with the VFLW? You were beaten, I think, on the weekend. You have to go to Darwin, is that right?
No, so we lost to Hawthorn on the weekend by 16. But no, we don't have to head up to Northern Territory again. They're coming down.
So what's your pathway now in terms of playing? Are you playing this weekend?
No, we've got the bye this weekend, league bye, and then top four made it to the finals. So we at Northern Territory and Collingwood and Hawks.
So where do they host those games? Where do they
pretty sure I think they're to be confirmed, but I think it's Southport.
And you obviously, just for people who don't know your story, you obviously had a big upbringing in basketball.
Yep.
Then you go, I think, the Super Cats. You might have captained the Super Cats. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
So tell us a little bit about that, and then how, at the age of late 20s, I'm assuming.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Played that well.
You've crossed over to footy. Tell us how that pathway takes us. Obviously, you were heavily invested in basketball for a long time.
Yeah, I was. Played since I was 11. I'm now 30 years old, so I had a number of seasons in the basketball world, and played in Bendigo with the Seaboard WNBL side. Came back home to Geelong, did the Super Cats for a number of years. Unfortunately, we didn't quite get the premierships under the belt, but then the opportunity came along, and it's something that I've always been interested in. Love the idea of it, that the opportunities were not quite there. And then the coming Friday for VFL Geelong was held out at Deakin, and thought, why not give it a crack? And here I am.
And you've obviously loved every minute of it. Has it been a difficult transition, or they're very different sports technically, but there'd be some carryover in terms of the way you view the game, but I'd imagine it a far more physical game for starters, and one that it's very difficult to adapt to, particularly at a later stage of life.
In all honesty, I think I'm actually a bit more suited to footy. I've said this to a number of people, but I was often getting fouled out in games of basketball, so the physicality side of it I've embraced and I absolutely love. The transition was, it's got its difficulties. I'm still developing my kicking and my skills, my fundamentals, but in terms of game sense, that's pretty similar, just on a much larger scale.
You mentioned there the development, and I mean, some people have poo-hooed the women's footy, and that's easy to do, sit in the cheap seats and do that. But the game has to start somewhere, and you in some ways leading by example. Girls who are younger now, 10, 11, 12, 13, have a pathway, and they'll have the skills at the young age, and it might take some time, but give it 6, 7, 8, 9 years, we'll see a far different product of the women's footy than we'll see now. But the fact that you guys are sort of pioneers and leading the way is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, it's really exciting. And look, what's amazing is for those girls, it's going to be the norm for them. You know, boys and girls will be having conversations together saying, oh, how'd you go footy on the weekend? And that's never really been the case. So I think the beauty of it is it will be the norm. Yeah.
And Jabbo, the women up there at Joey's, I believe, were absolutely rubbish this year. You had no involvement up there.
Well, we got the under-18s in the grand final this weekend, I think, in the footy. But our senior side, I think they started in Division 1.
Don't get me started.
Halfway through the year,
Ruined the whole comp.
Yeah, they had to slide them back down to Division 2. I think they had a bit of a tough year. I think a few of the girls' bodies probably wasn't quite ready for the physical aspect of football. And,
they played 6 games, Jambo. Come on.
They went down to Division 2 and still probably helped their cause do well. So.
Oh, they're in there and having a crack, which is the main thing.
Exactly.
Bluey, you've had an interesting year. You're obviously coaching the Wamos, and it's been obviously an eye-opener. I heard you say before that you haven't enjoyed footy as much as you have this year, and obviously we talked about, I think, maybe on the first front bar, that a massive part of that is that I think for the girls it's all about having a lot of fun at initial stages, and some are at different standards, but it's all about having fun, which is a whole, it's a very different persona that is sometimes. I mean, some of these guys here from St J's, even at the GFL level, can be a really serious sort of business, but at grassroots, which is where you're at the minute with the women, it's all about having a bit of fun.
Yeah, it is, and I think there's room for that in all levels of sport. I think the AFL probably takes it far too seriously, and you only got to look at a player like Paddy Dangerfield, who is happy to talk to the media and ham it up a little bit. Everyone thinks he's a bit to the side because he's different than everyone else, but I think with the girls it's important that first and foremost they enjoy it, and it's out of their comfort zone. You know, we range from 18 years old to 40, so there's a big range of ages. We've got mums, we've got police officers, and all, some at uni, some really highly intelligent girls, and for them to get out of their comfort zone and come play footy, first and foremost is you've got to enjoy it, and that's been the exciting part about it. How you've got, say, a group of 30 girls on our list who have come from far and wide. Some are involved in elite sport, some aren't, and for them all to get on was an absolute miracle, really. And they've all embraced it. They welcomed the new girls. They got around each other when they were a bit down. They got to a point, because they were around each other so much, they sensed when someone hadn't had a good day, whether it be at work or at uni, or the kids are crook at home, and they could sense that. And by the time training was over, they were sort of up and about again. So that was the exciting part about it.
Jerry, you're at not the end of the journey, but you're well down the path in terms of your coaching. Tell us a bit about your pathway to St Joey's. I mentioned there you're originally from Tasmania. You've coached Joey's to a couple of flags. It's something no one had been able to do for quite some period of time. But tell us how you ended up at St Joey's and where you'd been previously.
Yeah, so footy career started in Tassie at Clarence Footy Club. In I think it was 2004 or 5, a few mates and myself ventured to Cairns, played a year up in Cairns. It was in Cairns where Andy Viola, who got the senior job at Queenscliff, sort of brought me back down with him to Queenscliff. A year into that, he was pushed aside, and I took over the reins at Queenscliff.
So you white-handed him pretty much?
Got rid of him in a nice way, I think, Bluey, and was able to take over from there. Had a little bit of success down there. In 2011, I finished up at Queenscliff, went to the Sandringham Dragons in the TAC for a year, and then I've been at Joey since 2013, so 6 years this year.
Is the ambition to take the coaching further? Obviously, you've indicated that you'll step away from St Joey's at the end of the year. Is it is it in your blood in that you want to take it further and potentially make it some sort of career, be it how far you can get in terms of the coaching?
Yeah, I think it's not something that you can sort of sit at home and want to. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not something that you can just rock up and get into the next level. I suppose there's channels that you have to go through. You sort of have to know a few people to get your name in front of them and get in that way. So there's a couple of doors that may be opening up at the end of this year. We'll see where that takes me. At this stage, I don't really know what I'm going to be doing next year. I might just be watching the boys in the outer, which wouldn't be bad either. I think 6 years in the local clubs probably getting towards enough. There's some of the boys that I've coached probably the whole of their senior career, so I think it might be time for the club to get someone fresh too now. Yeah. The standard
GFL footy is really good. Is it now, you feel, a legitimate pathway for a coach in terms of wanting to get to that next level, in terms of being one of the best recognised country leagues in Victoria, if not Australia?
Well, I think it's become a pathway for players. And I think if you see, your Tommy Stewart's an All-Australian this year, he was playing for South Barwon 3 or 4 years ago. So if the pathway's there for the players, we're hoping there might be a pathway for the coaches as well. Greavesy spent a bit of time at Joey's and he's been in the system for a long time. So obviously Mark Mild and Brendan McCartney, these types of guys started Ocean Road. Kenny Hinkley was coaching the GFL as well, so there has been people before that have been able to get to the next level. Whether the chubby fella from St Joseph's can do that, I don't know.
Well, let's hope you can. Is it difficult? You're obviously a passionate coach. Is it some of these boys here you've got coaching today, all young blokes, and is it difficult that everybody is at a slightly different level of passion for the game, that some of these guys here probably enjoy playing it, but it's not absolutely everything to them, they might miss the odd training session. Is that a difficult aspect to work with, or has GFL reached the point now where it's all in if you're a senior player?
Yeah, it has. So the BFL is probably that competition that you're talking about there, Benny, where if it's cold on a Tuesday night and the heater's on, they don't necessarily come to training, but the GFL, these boys here tonight would have been up at their rehab, getting a physio to look at them and getting rubs and this type of stuff. Tomorrow they'll all get training nice and early and Thursday night as well. So the footy of the GFL, I suppose, has got too serious now, I suppose, for the guy that just wants to have a lot of fun.
Is that why we often see some of the boys, the better players at GFL, drop back a grade, because they actually don't want that full-on commitment. They'd rather be involved and enjoy it, but still keep that the real enjoyment level as a big aspect of their footy.
Yeah, I think if you see our footy club, we don't have a lot of guys sort of the other side of 30. I reckon it gets to an age where they've probably had enough. I think Joey McCullough and Benny Capper would probably be the two oldest guys we've got at the club now, and they're 28 to 30 years of age. They're probably looking to take a step backwards soon as well. It just gets a hold of you, I suppose. And the lifespan of a GFL football is probably getting less and less.
Can't imagine the Italian stallion Joey McCullough taking a back step, still wheeling onto the left like Maurice Rioli, does he, most weeks?
Yeah, he does. Joseph, he's a unique character, one would say, and hoping he can bring out his best footy over the next month.
Anna, how do you find it in terms of, there'll be very different age groups. I know every footy club there is, but there'll be some young girls who have probably 18, 19, and you're at the different end. There's probably girls older than you. How have you found to give you a new lease on life, a new perspective on life?
So we've got a range. We've got a few of the TAC Cup girls that have played the last few games with us, and then 17. Going year 12, that feels like decades ago for me. But and then we've got Flinny. She's early to mid 30s, I'd say. So there's certainly a range. But look, in terms of what we do around the club, the age kind of gets left at the door. It doesn't really, other than perhaps us feeling a little bit worse for wear, and those girls can just jump up and become sprightly.
So what sort of hours what do you do during the week, and what sort of hours would you put in just in any given week in terms of your footy?
So I'm a teacher by trade. At the end of last year, I gave up full-time work, and I'm doing relief teaching now. So I could, I've only got this really small window of opportunity to play footy, so I thought I'd give that a crack. Training with the club, it's Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays nights. That's we get there at around 4:30, 5, leave by about 8:30, 9. And then I've got a few battles with management issues with my body, so I'm often putting some extra hours into that each day, and physio, and I just actually came from my massage therapist before this, so I had to get rid of the massage face. But there's those extra hours that.
So it's a big commitment. It's 14, just there, sort of 15 to 16 hours a week just on footy.
Yeah, it is. And I think the beauty of the women's comp at the moment is money's never been a factor. And I'm certainly not saying this about the men's, but it's all for the love of it and enjoyment, and we're all going through this together in its infancy. It's all new, and we're all kind of riding this wave together and loving it. So we're happy to put in any of those hours.
Do you get to use the facilities at Geelong and their doctors and physios any time you like?
It's not any time we like. So during the day, it's for the AFL blokes.
Yep.
Which is fair. It's their job. Otherwise we get given hours that we can go in there and use them, and we've got our own physio and doctor for the VFLW squad.
Yep.
So often hassling them, they're on my speed dial. But it's all very communal. It's all open to everyone being able to use it.
Well, you train mainly at Deakin.
We chop and change between Deakin and GMHBO. Yeah.
Talk about the Pussycats for a second. The big boys have scraped into the finals, into the 8, albeit with the star-studded midfield, and they've just flopped in, got in the back door. Bluey, what's your assessment of the Pussycats and how far they might be able to go, given now that the draw is out and the Cats are going to play the Demons on Friday night at the MCG?
Yeah, it's interesting. I read with interest Paddy Dangerfield's article the other week about momentum.
Written by Scotty Gullen.
Written by Scott
I think
Gullen.
Paddy has a huge say in what goes into that article.
But momentum's a huge thing, and I'm a bit divided about that, essentially, because they've played two teams that are Spuds, and they've won by 100 points.
Spuds.
So how do you know?
It's great in the AFL comp, there's still room for a couple of spuds.
They're Spuds. If you get beat by 100 points, you're a Spud. And you look at some of the players in the team the last few weeks who are in their bottom 6, who are playing like Morris Ridola, and they're not that good. So they're going to come out after a week off and be fresh and ready to go. And Melbourne's first time in the finals for a long time. They'll hit them with everything they got.
Yeah, it'll be really.
So it'll be those players who aren't up to the level that will get exposed.
What do you make it as a coach, Jamo, the Cats lead up 200 plus point wins? Obviously gives the group a bit of confidence, but can it also give you, as Blue was alluding to, give you a little false sense of potentially where you're at, given that the opponent, Melbourne, Friday week will be a far more intense opponent than the last two they've faced?
Yeah, I think going into finals, you want to probably have a good hit out that gives you a nice old work over. I think that first final probably looks like both sides will lay, 90 to 110 tackles. I reckon Geelong probably got tackled 50 times in the last 2 games they've played. So, but they've got a lot of players that have played plenty of finals and know what finals footy's all about. That experience that they have there, I guess, over the Demons should hold them in good stead.
You hope that they were replicating that in training. They've got that experience, so it's definitely be on their radar with their talking about in their discussions. For sure.
Yeah, well, it's going to be an interesting one too, because Cats are able to throw the team around a little bit too, but I don't know if they're going to have the luxury of able to doing that against Melbourne. Who's been the biggest flop this year in the AFL? Who do you think, the team-wise, I'm talking?
Yeah, you probably have to say Adelaide Crows, wouldn't you, with the... I think they made the grand final last year. Everyone thought the next step for Adelaide was probably to compete again. I think they've missed the finals quite easy. They had a few injury issues early in the year. They had the camp who came out today and did their press conference. So I think they had a few interruptions, I suppose, early in the year and put them behind the 8 ball. And from there, they were never able to catch up.
I think they got hijacked on that camp, didn't they? There was a pretend hijack, and then they played the Richmond theme song, kept them up for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Did you try that up at Joey's? Or?
No, I don't want to see my players for 24 hours, so I'm happy just...
Where was the camp this year, just sort of warm ponds?
No, we don't do a camp as such. We did a day trip to the
Excursion?
lovely town of
It's
Queensland.
not a camp, it's an excursion.
It's an excursion. I like my own bed too much, mate, to be able to stay there.
So you've got Adelaide. Anna, who do you reckon's been the biggest flop this year as a team?
I think nailed it.
The Crows?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Bluey? You'll have a couple.
I reckon St Kilda, like they were building and they've got a heap of good young players. They've been atrocious. They've been really, really disappointing.
Yeah, well, you're right. Carlton, I suppose the expectations were huge for Carlton, but they haven't kicked 100 points for, I think it's more than 2.5 years since they last kicked 100 points.
Last time they kicked 100
amazing.
points was 95 in the granny against us. They kicked about 150.
What about premierships? We've only got 4 weeks now. There's only 9 games of AFL to go, and obviously 9 games of or less than that in the GFL. They don't play the top 5, but who's going to win the flag?
If Geelong can't, Richmond are absolute certainty.
They look pretty good, don't they?
So if you're a punter and responsibly, your house, your veranda, the whole bit, just unload the whole lot on Richmond. Whatever price you get, it's just like caviar wings sort of odds. Take it.
They have been impressive. haven't they?
They're 5-6 goals better than anyone else, aren't they?
It's been a really good year. I mean, interestingly too, with the problems of the Bulldogs at the year after they won the flag, that Richmond have actually, if anything, have probably improved. I know they lost 4 games, but they're all interstate. They seem to have just put sides away, particularly at the MCG. They're almost close to unbeatable at the MCG.
I hope the little master on Thursday week, Clarko might be able to get the Hawks up and about for the Tigers. I think if they are going to get beaten this year, it's probably next Thursday night. So Ferg will be happy in the crowd over there if the Hawks can get up. But yeah, I'd hope little Clarko might have a few tricks up his sleeve.
Talking about getting teams up, your team, the Joey's boys, have had an amazing 2 years. The last 8 weeks, I'm guessing, 10 weeks haven't been maybe as you'd like them. It's a little, I suppose, a really good challenge in your coaching career to get the group back, because obviously they have the talent to win it, but things haven't quite gone as planned in the last couple of months.
Yeah, no, they haven't. It's been a different run into the finals than what it has been in years gone by. Maybe the form team coming in, we have to do it a bit differently this year. But we still win 14 out of our 18 games. And we've beat every side in the comp except for Leopold. So I think Leopold at the moment is probably fair to be the standout favourites. But I'd like to think that our side, we speak a bit, or Benny Capra speaks about the Tuscan sun and the green grass at GMHBA Stadium. We're hoping that, we've still got a story to tell.
You mentioned Tommy Stewart before as a unbelievable story out of the GFL. Are there any of the boys that here tonight, or even that potentially you've seen from other teams this year, who may be the next Tom Stewart, who 21, 22, running around in the GFL this year?
The GFL's hard. I think Tommy Atkins is probably one who's close to home for us, that we're just hoping he gets an opportunity this year to join Geelong Footy Club, because he's done everything he can possible. So I think he's leading the VFL in tackles by 40 odd. I think if you look at the Geelong side, probably one thing that they do struggle with is the guy that will get his hands dirty sort of in the middle of the ground. So Tommy Atkins is probably one for us that we'd be open, get an opportunity at AFL level.
Have you heard, I mean, you obviously would hear things, nothing is certainly set in stone when you're talking about drafting players, but have you any indications that the Cats are actually looking at Tom, or potentially other clubs looking at Tom?
Yeah, I guess Geelong would be his major hope. I think he's in front of their nose every time. spoken to a few people that are involved that think that he's taking his game to another level again this year. So, we'll be certainly hoping that Geelong sort of scratch that itch and give him an opportunity to show his wares.
The All-Australian team was announced, well, the squad was announced today. The Cats had 4, Tom Stewart, Patrick Dangerfield, Mark Blitzarves and Tommy Hawkins. Were we surprised with any of those selections in terms of just being in the squad? Now, that's not to say they'll make the team, but did an eyebrow sort of go north when you read a couple of any of those names, Bluey?
It was interesting, a couple of young fellas that worked for me said, the squad's been announced today for the All-Australian. Geelong got 4 in. I said, it'll be Dangerfield, Selwood, Hawkins, and I can't think of the fourth one.
Murdoch.
And they said no, and I was actually surprised that Mark Blitzarves was in. I couldn't believe Tim Kelly wasn't. He's had an outstanding kid.
You surprised Dangerfield was in it?
No?
No?
No, when you watch Geelong most weeks, he gets to the end of the race and puts 10 blokes on his back and carries them.
Yeah.
He's had a great year.
Yeah, I don't know. He's had a great year. He's been very good. Maybe he just set such lofty standards that he missed a lot of the pre-season, and he's certainly coming good at the right end of the season, which I suppose is the trick with players like that. You want them. The Cats now have slipped into the finals, and we heard the coach say after the game that some players who have carried niggles, and he mentioned Ablett and Dangerfield as 2 who played under duress at times, had started to feel as good as they'd had all year, which is, you can't ask for too much more than that at the pointy end of the season. After a 22-week season, to be hitting it in the best shape of the year has got to be a positive for the Cats.
And quite often when players set such a high precedent and they perhaps don't live up to that for a few weeks, it's easy to start criticising as well.
Yeah, true. Tommy Stewart hopefully can get through. He's probably been one of the Cats' most consistent performers. It's hard to believe that he's still only a second-year AFL player and played less than 50 games. And was, like you mentioned, 4 years ago was playing in the GFL, and by all reports wasn't a dominant player, which showed glimpses, but certainly wasn't dominating the GFL like you perhaps would expect him to. But you mentioned there that Tom Atkins gets into a professional system, he's training, has the dedication to get the best out of himself, and his footy just elevates. It's that opportunity. There must be lots of stories throughout Australia of guys who, if they're dedicated enough and get that chance, can make good on it.
Yeah, I think the chance is what he got. He took it with both hands. I think he was always a good GFL player, but I think his ability to get himself in the best nick he is, he had a good year at VFL level, and then to get that opportunity, like you say, to train full time in that system, it makes you wonder how many players out there is like him that are getting this. So I think the recruiters are getting better at sort of finding those guys.
Footy's all about inspiring people, and I believe that your debut into footy or your pathway into football inspired someone very close to you to make their debut in the game at about age 55. Is that correct?
Not quite 55.
No,
We'll go into
we're putting a little bit of mayonnaise on the age, but can you just enlighten us on the story as to exactly what I'm talking about?
So my partner said, Sebastian, he
Former Super Cat,
yes. He saw how much I was loving it, I think, and saw how much fun it was being around the club and being around a bunch of people that with the same goal, and he decided to start playing footy in the GDFL
at
age 42.
42 made his debut.
Yes,
for
he made it for Inverleigh.
Yes.
Some say he shouldn't have.
So, and how's that gone? We might be able to ask you, but how's that gone? Do you swap stories at the end of the day?
We've both kind of agreed that it's been actually easier on the body. We both agree that I think it's the grass, the surface. After playing on the basketball court for so many years, that's actually been better for the joints. But yeah,
You got to watch that grass out of Inverleigh.
Yeah,
And that's what the stuff you play.
They smoke it out there, I reckon, pre-game.
but yeah, it's nice to sit down and have a chat and debrief, and we still don't really.
So is he going again next year at age 43?
It's yet to be decided.
Right,
I think.
okay.
I think him and his brother were discussing perhaps playing together, but I don't know.
If he plays again next year, I'll have a game next year at Ammo. There you go.
Okay, you heard it first on Murphy's front bar. Bluey in the seniors, Bluey.
No.
For who? You can't play in the girls.
No, I know that. I nearly did the other week when we were short against North Geelong. I nearly threw a jumper on and just trotted out the half back.
You haven't got the right tackle for to play that competition. They'd be putting the white flag up, I reckon, the opposition when you trundle out to centre half back.
What's interesting, that game, we spoke about it the other week, that Shannon Knox, who's the coach of North Geelong, we got 3 injuries in the first quarter, so we had none on the bench. So she gave us a few extra players, and then at 3/4 time she took those 3 players back and gave us another 2. Now the 2 she gave us were their best 2 players. Now, the girl who won the medal, Charlotte Thorne, she actually gave her to us in the last quarter, and she still got the 3 votes and she played a quarter for us.
So it's fair to say she absolutely dominated. We got any questions from anybody in the crowd? Given some of these Joey's boys have turned up, we surely there's got to be something for you, coach. Maybe ask about team selection for Saturday against St Mary's. Anything from anybody in the audience before we wrap things up? I'm looking a bit sheepish over there to Joey's boys.
I've got a question for Jamo and Bluey, a coaching question. When a team gets a run, let's say it's the opposition, right? You're not going to stop them. The brain's just working 100 miles an hour with the opposition. How do you feel and what do you say to the players? Because quite often the coaches just got to start as what the players do. And I'm talking about big league.
Yeah, I don't feel too good often. I suppose you try to put some things in place during the week that if the side does get a roll on that you can stop that. I think you see in the AFL now that numbers behind the footy generally works. The reason why you do that is to get the footy in your own hands. Once the footy's in your hands, you sort of slow the ball down until the momentum sort of shifted back your way, hopefully. But it's hard to do. You know, it's not like basketball where you can have a timeout mid-quarter if the side's got a run on and just halt that momentum that way. But yeah, I don't know. Bluey might have a better idea than me, and I might be able to use it on Saturday if I need it.
I'll clarify one thing, my brain's never worked at 100 miles an hour, so I'm in a bit different situation where you're coaching the women. All year I've refused to put numbers behind the ball, everyone's been taught to play one-on-one. So to answer that, if a team gets a run on, that's bad luck for us. Our defenders or our midfielders have got to learn to play one-on-one and defend one-on-one and learn how to win in their position. So a lot of the teams we play against, the start numbers behind the ball, and I'm not sure in the women's footy we need to be going down that road. I certainly won't. If you learn to play one-on-one and you can back your players to win clearances or win in the middle of the ground or learn to play one-on-one defensively, especially in the women's, the run-ons you'll get the ball back because they know how to defend.
I agree with my mates that way many years ago, and the Geelong Social Club on Saturday, and you look at it, it just looked like
it's different now though. It is different now. If there's it seems to me when I watch, if there's an option to, if you lose the ball in the middle of the ground and you're transitioning back, if there's an option your players 15 metres to your right to go and push to them, they'd rather transition back and set up behind the ball so you can actually go to that player if they get it. Whereas if you get beaten one-on-one there, you're left exposed behind you. So it seems to me it's more about minimising the damage than actually learning how to beat your player one-on-one. That's what it seems like.
That's good.
Yeah.
It certainly has. Just before we wrap up, and you mentioned that your sister is married to Mark Neal, who's had an interesting footy journey. He's been at a number of clubs, seen the coach, does some stuff with us on K-Rock Footy this year. Do you talk much footy, or not really? I mean, do you see much, or how's that relationship been, given that now you are in the footy sphere?
Yeah, we don't talk a whole lot. They live up in Melbourne, we're down here.
You don't miss him much. He's quite boring.
Oh, he's a lot. Look, and I have spoken to him at times when I've had difficult or decisions to make in regards to my very short footy career, what it has been so far. And like you said, he's had a difficult journey with it, but he's still got a lot of knowledge and a lot to draw from. So if I need to, I certainly chat with him.
You see that, I mean, we only see him on Saturdays, but the toll that Neildy's obviously had his problems in footy, and he's had some really good times too. Collingwood winning the premiership as an assistant coach, but there's also been the well-documented downtimes. Do we, the effect that has on family members and those sorts of things? I heard Barry Hall interviewed the last few days, and obviously he made a really repulsive comment, and it was just a one-off thing. He made a mistake. Everybody's probably made mistakes, but he was talking about the toll that has taken on his family. Do we underestimate the toll that these things and these events have on not just Mark, but the remaining the family that are around him?
Yeah, well, in terms of the media, you see the person in the spotlight. You don't see what's going on in the background and how it is affecting family and that kind of side of things. And look, I'm sure it's difficult and it takes its toll. But in saying that, Mark's a pretty strong character too, and he's been able to deal with it pretty well.
He certainly is. I think he looking maybe at rival Code might be looking at Mark Hill to join their ranks next year potentially. So he's in the throes of maybe going for a job with one of the NRL clubs. I hope I haven't dropped something there. But,
You have now.
probably have. No one will listen.
He's had his troubles in footy, but people forget he was a bloody good player.
He was.
He played in some of Geelong's strongest teams, and he was a good player.
Yeah, 70 odd AFL games is not a career to be sneezed at. Well, ladies and gents, thanks for your time. Good luck in your pursuits, both short term and long term, and we'll look forward to following those. Particularly, I will, Jamo, in the next few weeks to St Joe's, get to see the boys run around for the first time in 2 years this Saturday. So I can't wait to see that, and we'll hopefully open up some sort of big can of whoop-ass on the Bogan Catholics. That's it from the front bar. Thanks for your participation, and thanks to the guests.